And now back to Disney Channel's original series, Even Stevens.
Yep, after I don't know how long, we're finally heading into Even Stevens for this Disney Channel marathon. Or can I even consider this a marathon? Because probably the next Timothy Reviews video isn't going to be Disney related, so we'll see how this goes. So in the year 2000, a show by the name of Even Stevens was released. I know this wasn't the first Disney Channel sitcom, but I'm going off what's available on Disney+. The Famous Jett Jackson is nowhere to be found at Disney+, so that sucks. And the show looked fun too. But anyways, back to the show. Even Stevens definitely was a hit when it premiered. I personally didn't watch it when I was younger, so this is all new to me. But I at least have to get someone who loves the show. With that being said, I'd like to introduce Jerzey Reviews. Oh fuck, my foot fell asleep. He doesn't have much in terms of videos, but he's still a top-notch reviewer.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's Nate, aka Jerzey Reviews, and I'm here today to talk about one of my all-time favorite Disney Channel original classic sitcoms, Even Stevens. Now, before I jump into my discussion, I want to first thank the homie Timothy for allowing me to partake in my very first collab video in the community. It is much appreciated, bro, and I hope that you and I have more to come, along with maybe some others in the community as well.
So with introductions out of the way, let's review Even Stevens. In this segment, I'm going to go over characters. If you're wondering if this video is going to be like the Good Luck Charlie video, no. I hope you guys realize that video took me a month to make. I most definitely ain't doing nothing like that till next year, hint hint. Anyways, I've hyped up this video for a while, and I need to fix that. So our main boy himself, Lewis, played by Shia LaBeouf. He's pretty much just the annoying little brother, but he's hilarious. He's always finding something to get himself into, which most likely backfires, and it's always fun to watch. Later on in the series, he gets crazy funny. Definitely a fun character. Ren is the older sister, and when it comes to characters like her, they usually tend to be annoying, but honestly, Ren is just a pretty good person. I mean, sure, she has her moments where she's a bit much, but it isn't anything too bad. Plus, Ren and Lewis's bond is nice because they are rivals sometimes, but they both have their moments where they help each other out.
Now, one of the only things that is annoying in the beginning of the series is Ren's overly stuck-up attitude, but as the season progressed, her character development does begin to flesh out a little bit more. She becomes a much more likable character as she grows into a more relatable person. Now, the studio did recognize the overly perfect stuck-up attitude and even addressed it in one of the episodes towards the end of the season called Almost Perfect, where Ren is stressed about living up to her perfect persona that everyone, including herself, placed onto her shoulders. Ren receives her first C in shop class, and Lewis helps Ren understand that you don't have to be perfect and it's okay to be human. And I love how this dynamic between Ren and Lewis continues, as they are not always rivals, but there are plenty of episodes where they actually bond and actually help each other out as siblings should. That is a common theme throughout this series. Ren and Lewis are constantly, going at it, but then there's plenty of episodes sprinkled in where they actually have to work together, or they actually want to work together, and they help each other along the way. And it's not just Lewis helping Ren, it's Ren helping Lewis as well. There's plenty of episodes where it dives into that. And when they're helping each other, it's not solely because they have to or because the other has something to gain. A lot of times they're just helping each other as siblings should and getting along.
I also want to talk about the actress Christy Carlson. She has a YouTube channel and she has videos on there where she reacts to episodes of Even Stevens, and it's a fun watch. And she also shares her experience on the show. She literally quotes her lines perfectly.
Good, better, best. Never stop to rest until the good is better and the better best.
I don't know why I find that cool, but yeah, Ren's a cool person. The parents, Steve and Eileen, are funny in most episodes. They're great parents. And I gotta say, Steve is hilarious. Donnie is the oldest child of the bunch, and he's mainly into sports, which the theme song kind of already gave it away and showed how athletic he was. But yeah, I found myself laughing at the things he did. He's not the smartest, but he is hilarious. Now Beans, he was introduced in season 2, and when I started the show, I saw his face on like pictures related to the show, so I remember thinking he's like a main part of the show. But he's cool. He just randomly appears in the Stevens house, and it's always funny to see everyone's reaction to him just popping up out of nowhere.
And on his first appearance, they don't even acknowledge or explain who he is. They act like he's just always been there. And I find that weird because you don't have to make it like a weird thing and say, hey, here's Beans, you know, neighborhood kid. Like, it doesn't have to be weird like that, but they could at least give some kind of introduction. Like, maybe Beans is over at Lewis's house, and then someone like Tawny or even Twitty is like, hey, who's this kid? And then that's when they can say, oh, that's the next door neighbor or whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be this weird introduction thing, but they just never acknowledge it. They just act like he's just been there for a whole season. But then in the same season, season 2, episode 7, they act like they have no idea who he is. They introduce him at first, episode 3, and then a few episodes later, episode 7, suddenly they act like they have no idea who he is. So I just find the inconsistency kind of weird. And I don't know if it's maybe because of how it was televised but when you're watching it on Disney Plus, at least, the order that it's in is confusing.
Lewis has 2 friends with him, and that's Twitty and Tawny. Twitty is cool. He's usually the one who's always down to do whatever Lewis gets himself into, and he's pretty cool. Tawny is usually the voice of reason in the show, but she also kind of developed a thing for Lewis, which I thought the whole thing was pretty sweet. She's a nice character. Occasionally they'll have Thomas join, but it's very rare because Homie is just a punching bag, but he's not a bad character. He's funny in some cases. Ren's best friend, Rudy, has a strong accent. That has nothing to do with the character overall, I just wanted to say that. She always has Ren's back most of the time, and she's pretty chill. Bill is just a cocky kid, and I don't know what was the obsession back in the 2000s to make black teens overly cocky. Like, yo, chill out. But he's funny, a bit annoying sometimes, but not a bad character. Zach is low-key just there to steal Tawny from Lewis, which never works out, so yeah. Last character I want to mention is Coach Terry and Principal Wexler. Both over-the-top characters, and they are fun. Seeing how they both think Lewis is a menace, it's so funny to see them upset when he appears in an episode. Okay, that's all the characters I want to mention. We have 3 seasons to tackle, so like always, let's start off with episode 1.
First off, the opening theme, fire. Composed by John Coda, which Tim will not be playing in fear of a copyright strike. I need my boy to get the bag, you feel me? The opening theme song is entirely made up of an awesome claymation segment, which is honestly fantastic. It really sets the tone for the wackiness and the hijinks that the show is going to bring, and it has a nice little twist. Like I said, the claymation is just beautifully done.
So episode 1 starts off pretty strong, titled Swap.com. Lewis wants to get a car from Ernie. Ernie asks for a date with Ren. So Lewis tricks Ren into thinking this date has something to do with school. So once everyone at school finds out, Ren quickly ends the drama. But she doesn't embarrass Ernie. It's kind of like that episode in CV Universe when Garnet has to turn somebody down. It's a nice moment. Episode 1 was a really nice time, man. I really enjoy the fast-paced editing. The editing for the show is just insane, and I love it. The theme song slaps too. I love the stop-motion animation look. But yeah, we're off to a good start. Oh yeah, I'm not covering all episodes from each season, so you know the vibes.
Now the show, it kind of relates a lot to that of like Ed, Edd and Eddy in the way that Shia and the gang concoct their schemes and crazy situations. They're always up to something, especially Shia. The situations they are put in are wacky, but they're still believable, right? So the show has a perfect balance of being not too cookie cutter scripted, sort of like most other early 2000 sitcoms, but it's also never too far-fetched from reality either. Some of the crazy situations they're put in are obviously hyperboles, but at the same time, they are believable.
Episode 3 is where Lewis wants to join his talent show, but is rejected, so he convinces Ren to join him in a stand-up act. And it works out, up until Bill misses Ren, and it causes Ren and Lewis to split up. It's the big day, and Bill straight up steals Lewis' jokes. Ren doesn't want Lewis to be embarrassed, so she helps him make a new act, and they do something pretty fun. That's something I always liked about the show. Ren and Lewis may not always see eye to eye, but when they do, it's always nice to see. Oh, and Steve is juggling CG eggs, bro. That John's crazy. Episode 4 is pretty much Lewis missing one of his VHS tapes. This man puts cameras around his whole house just to find it, and when it does show up, he's nowhere to be found. I like the fact that Lewis went out of his way to set up cameras in the house just to find his tape. But hey, it's a fun episode. While watching season 1, I noticed that 2 certain characters started to grow a connection to each other, which leads me to episode 10. A fundraiser is going on at school, and it involves students doing a car wash and another helpful task, and Lewis helps out by staying in bed for 48 hours. But it backfires and everyone is having fun. Let's just cut to the chase. This is a nice episode that shows Lewis and Tawny's relationship. 2 characters I was not expecting to like each other, but it's sweet. Episode 18 is where Lewis is directing a movie, and he becomes a jerk. Low-key, Lewis turns into Christian Bale.
Can you stop questioning everything I do? This is the most important scene in my movie, and action.
Kick your fucking ass! I want you off the fucking set, you prick!
Oh, and this dude Alvin had me crying, bro.
I mean, just look at his hair. It's like, it's
perfect.
But again, Lewis and Tony have a great moment in this episode. Okay, so the episode list is out of order on both IMDb and Disney Plus, so I think this is the final episode of season 1. Could be wrong, correct me if I am. Episode 21 is where Lewis and Ren get invited to the same party, and they both have their own issues to work out. Ren wants to talk to a boy, and literally all her attempts fail, even to the point her shoe got stuck in the toilet, and Lewis is scared to ask Tawny to dance. This scene is so damn awkward, not in a bad way though, it's really well done. It's exactly what you expect to happen. But Lewis, man, just ask her, bro.
Lewis, just ask her. She's right there. This is infuriating. Just ask her the question. You couldn't take the... He took the popper.
Hey, at least Lewis worked up the courage to dance later on. Better than what I can do. Overall, I really like season 1. It's a great start to the series. It definitely started off strong and ended on a high note. Well, I think that was the last episode. But yeah, season 1's fun. Even with this fast-paced editing, which reminds me, I should try out fast-paced humor. Let me just turn this on and... that should do it. I still found myself laughing at almost every joke delivered. Now, season 1 definitely left an impression, so I was expecting season 2 to do the same. Guys, season 2 had me crying. Season 2 is just 100 times better than season 1. The episodes I have here today were episodes that had me in tears. That's how good these were. Let me stop talking and get into the episodes. If you're wondering why I don't sound too enthusiastic, I've had to restart my recording like 5 times. Sorry, y'all. Episode 1 starts off with Ren's friend Rudy being obsessed with a band called BB Mac, and Lewis finding a lucky penny. And literally everything good that could happen to Lewis happens, which leads to Lewis calling in for a chance to watch BB Mac record a song, and he wins. Oh yeah, and Ruby grows a liking to Lewis for like 10 minutes. Which is funny because Tawny hears this and she's like,
wait a minute, hold on.
Wait a second. You and Lewis.
Why, you got some kind of claim on him?
Well, you know, I was his friend before he got lucky.
But the episode ends with Lewis losing his penny, which makes Lewis freak out and it's hilarious. Episode 6 is where Lewis helps Donnie in coaching a basketball team. The power goes to his head and he ends up taking over the team and they lose, causing Donnie to come back. This is a fun episode. Lewis as a coach, this dude literally gets hyped for the smallest things. And this scene here,
all Bobby wants to do is high-five me.
That still means... Oh, that's what I thought it meant.
I replayed this scene so many times. I just cannot stop laughing. Episode 7 is literally my favorite episode of season 2, hands down. It's been a minute since I laughed so hard at something that it made my sides hurt. Ren is having a sleepover and Lewis invites the boys to spy on them. There are too many fun moments here. This scene where Beans is randomly talking to this dude.
And I fell on me shit.
Hey, Stevens, this kid is freaking me out. I want my money back.
Beans, hit the road. You're freaking out the customers. Twitty!
I'm on it.
Bro, this episode is a trip. Oh yeah, this is Beans' first appearance. And this dude straight up snitched, man.
No, Beans, don't do it, Beans!
Oh! Oh my God! Yeah!
Episode 11 was a Halloween special, and it was kind of mid. It had some clever moments here and there, but ultimately it was just okay. Episode 16 was another one of my favorites. Ren is sick and she has a dream about everyone singing. These songs are literally so catchy, even though most of these guys can't sing. But I feel like it adds to the charm of this episode. This was a really well done episode. The Ring Got a F song is going to be in my head for a minute.
One of the most popular episodes, according to fans, was the influenza episode where Ren is sick. Every scene is a musical throughout this episode, right? And I absolutely hate musicals. Now, you would think someone who's a big music guy like myself would love it. There are elements I like about it, but it's how most shows and movies do it. It makes it very corny. So you would think, oh, this is a 2000s show. This is going to be corny. But honestly, it was super enjoyable. All the songs were funny. All the songs were catchy. I mean, even Cardi B quoted this episode where they were talking about we went to the moon in 1969, and we remember it today. I mean, it's something that was catchy. It was something that was educational, and it was a lot of fun.
Episode 21 is just okay. It's better than the Halloween episode, but I feel like this one was held down because of Uncle Chuck. I was going to say Chunk, but that's a reference that nobody's going to understand. But yeah, this was just okay. Episode 22 is where Lewis is allowed to be the hall monitor, and the power goes to his head, and it's hilarious to see it happen. With the help of Tom, Lewis finds out that Ren has been taking the elevator without permission. Kinda reminds me of something I did in high school, but let's not talk about that. But yeah, this was a nice episode with a funny ending, and a great way to end the season. Overall, season 2 still hits, man. This is where I became a fan of the show. Hold on, I think I said this before. You know what, let me just delete that video. But in all seriousness, season 2 was a fun time. These episodes hit different, and it had me excited to check out the next season. I wonder how long this video is gonna be.
Good morning, honey.
Season 3, the third and final season of the show. And I had a good time, but I still kind of think season 2 delivered on more of the laughs. But there's 2 episodes here that make me really love season 3. We literally start off with a banger. Episode 1 begins with Lewis and Tawny just vibing at lunch, and out of nowhere Lewis just kisses Tawny, like dead out of nowhere. So they admit that they like each other, and they date. But it starts to get tested when Tawny is asked to kiss Zach in Ren's play, which makes Lewis a bit worried, even though she's just, acting. She tells Lewis to calm down, but he doesn't listen, and it leads to Ren's play being a disaster. When they break up, the scene is really well done. Lewis admits that he was in the wrong, and he just isn't ready for a relationship. This was a hella sweet episode that had a really nice ending. Episode 5 is where Lewis, Ren, Tawny, Twitty, and Beans join a band named the Twitty-Stevens Connection. And they want to do something big, so they try to perform on top of the school. Then everyone besides Lewis decides to bail, just for everyone to come back at the end. This is a funny mockumentary with crazy funny moments. Episode 8 is one of those episodes where Lewis, Twitty, and Ren believe that Beans is an alien because he's not normal. This episode kinda got a bit boring. It was just trying to be an ET parody in some parts, which was okay, but I hate those episodes where the main character embarrasses himself just to prove that he's right, but he ends up looking crazy. But it's weird because it ends with Lewis actually being right, but whatever, man. Episode 11 is where students are given the opportunity to join School of Arts. Tawny auditions, and Lewis is concerned because he doesn't want her to leave. So Lewis tries to audition, but he ends up embarrassing himself. But we find out it was all for nothing because Tawny wasn't accepted. After a conversation with Ren, Lewis finds out that Tawny actually was accepted, but she turned it down because she's not quite ready to go either. I love the ending more than anything, but it is a nice episode. I swear, these episodes are getting sweeter and sweeter, bro. Episode 14 is where Twitty breaks up with his girl, and Lewis thinks that she has a thing for him, which in reality, she just wants to pay him. Felt like she could have clarified that, but this is hilarious because Twitty sees Lewis meeting with her, and he chases Lewis. This whole episode is just wild, bro. Episode 19 is just a simple episode where Principal Wexler quits the model. So they hire, I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce that. He at first gets clowned, but he steps it up a notch and gets more strict. So they ended up hiring Wexler again. Simple episode, but fun. In the final episode of Even Stevens, Eileen wins the election, and it requires the family to move to Washington. So the family tries to tie up any loose ends. Ren finds her girls a new friend, Donnie's coach is moving with them, and Lewis confesses his feelings for Tawny on the tape. But halfway through the episode, they find out that the election had a recount, and turns out Eileen just didn't win. So the Stevens try to fix up the loose ends they made. So Ren gets her girls back easily, and Lewis tries to get the tape back, which he does, but it's the wrong tape. It's a tape for Lewis. So both Lewis and Tawny watch it at the same time, and they both tell each other how they feel. But yeah, they ended up back together. Man, this was a great ending, and it was like extremely satisfying ending to this great series.
Love you, Tawny.
I love you, Lewis.
Overall, season 3 definitely hits. I personally think the first and last episode really make this season really enjoyable. A relationship I wanted to see finally work, and the characters seem to be in a happy spot. I love a show that can end properly and not have the characters like leave something behind or anything that involves parting ways. I really love this season, man. It took me forever to get to it, but it was worth it to me. And with that being said, we're finally finished with Even Stevens. Say what? Wait, there's a movie? Oh, shit. Okay, I'll make this quick because this is nothing too extra. So the plot is where the Stevens family and Beans is offered a chance to go on a vacation to an island. It's all nice so far until Louis stoops somewhere where he wasn't supposed to, and it causes a curse to be put on the island. So the Stevens sleep outside. We later find out the whole thing is just a TV show, and the Stevens are being recorded. There's so many things wrong with this, but okay. At least the Tweety and Tawny finding out, so they go to help. Tweety makes it to the set and messes up the signal. Tawny loses her memories for like a quick second just to gain it back almost instantly, and the family finds out that they're on TV. So off screen, the family plays a prank on the guy, so it's like a prank within a prank. They get a plane back, Ren finds her a man, and the movie ends wrapping up everyone's story. Dang it! I wanted to like this movie, but I couldn't. Everything that happens before the Stevens decide to go on vacation was good. It was funny, but everything after was a problem. The family argues for pretty much the remainder of the film, which sucks because who wants to see that? The arguments are something that could have easily been resolved, but the family refuses to think that way. This whole vacation was something that was caught on film, and nobody notices the guys with earpieces, or someone clearly listening to someone else talk. With all the walking they've done, nobody saw the trailers or cameras. Why are Louis and Ren arguing so much in this one? They've always been rivals, but this was a bit too much. I don't care how funny you make it, seeing a family argue will never be funny. No one wants to see a family argue, and no one was arrested for keeping a family hostage for days, with barely any food or water. I think Tawny said it best.
Okay, I would just like to say that embarrassing innocent people on TV for fun and profit is one of the most disgusting,
Okay.
Overall, I wasn't feeling this one. This film was just bogged down by the consistent arguing. Even when they apologize, the movie ends with them arguing again. So yeah, there was no lesson learned. Yeah, this one just wasn't my cup of tea.
Even Stevens has always held a special place in my heart, and in recently rewatching the entire series again, I can honestly say it's not just nostalgia either. This show is a classic, and I enjoyed every single episode. I would honestly consider it to be among the quote-unquote big three of early Disney Channel sitcoms, along with Lizzie McGuire and That's So Raven. So yeah, I'm not gonna run over too long. I don't know how long Tim wants me, but I just kind of wanted to go on a stream of conscience and just rant about the show. I love this show. It's definitely worth the rewatch. Like I said, I enjoyed every episode. I couldn't wait to watch the next episode. I'm not even going to break down my favorite episodes because I really truly have a lot of favorites. It's a great show. Check out my channel as well, Jerzey Reviews. Only have a couple videos up right now. I kind of been slacking lately, but I'm so gracious of the community welcoming with open arms and just allowing me to be a part of them, and they're all really great people. My God, Tim, I really enjoy your content. All right, I'm out.
Yep, I found myself a new favorite Disney show. Even Stevens was a great time. I loved the characters, the catchy theme song, the fast-paced editing, the humor. Everything in the show was just top-notch. And part of me is going to miss staying up late just to watch an episode or two. This was just a great time, and I'm not kidding, man. The movie may have slacked a bit, but the rest of the series made up for it. And when you get the chance, sit back and relax and enjoy Even Stevens. Okay, next is Lizzie McGuire. We're just gonna focus on Disney for the rest of the year, so don't expect anything else. Jesus Christ, this was a terrible recording.